no, how great. Aren't you so happy to be out of the house? Yeah. So happy. I have 2 little boys. Oh my God, boys obsessed with the penis. Right, sir? Yes. My 4-year-old says to me today, he goes, Mommy, where's your big penis? I'm like, it's in the top left-hand drawer, if you really must know. My kids hate my cooking. The little one says to the big one, even our noodles are bad. The big one says to me tonight, he goes, he's very honest, he says, Mommy, Grandma's a better cook than you. The only thing that you make that better than what Grandma makes is soup. And that's because you make less of it. I'm like, oh, that's so interesting, because the only thing I like about you better than your little brother is that your school day is longer. He's overly honest. The little one's a bit of a liar. He's a bit of a liar. He says to me, we were at a birthday party, he'd eaten a couple of cupcakes. He's a little fat, chubby, whatever. And he says to me, may I have another cupcake? And I said, no. And he turns to the mom of the kid who's having the party, and he says, may I have another cupcake? She said, your mommy said no. And he goes, that's not my mommy. The kid would throw me under a bus. Under a bus for a couple, right? They ask a lot of questions, the kids, right? They ask so many, and there's stuff you can't, that's really, it hurts your head, some of the questions they ask, like, and you don't even know how to answer. They're like, what's the difference between wind and air? How many pennies can fit in my room? How many pennies can fit in the whole world? Right? And then they ask things that you actually know the answer to, but you're kind of screwed up. And my son says to me, he goes, Mommy, what's a baby cow called? I'm like, a veal. And I realized like my head was hurting, so I did like the Oprah thing. Like I go into my room, I like take the deep breath, right? And I come out and I say, honeybee, can we go 5 minutes? 5 minutes, please, with no questions. Why, Mama, why? Why no questions? Don't you love me? I love you. Why don't you love me? 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 Why don't you? I called my husband and told him this. He's like, now you know what it's like to have a wife. I love my husband. My husband just went to France, and I speak a little French, and he doesn't speak any French, and he texts me from the airplane, and he says, how do you say you're hot in French? I texted him back, j'ai herpes. I'm seeing who here speaks French, and you don't. She does un peu au bon pain, right? Oh my God. Did you like being pregnant, lady with kids? Did you know what you did? How many kids you have?
1.
What name?
Avery.
Avery is a boy or a girl?
A girl.
A girl. My kids are Danny and Teddy. I like that better. Now, did you find out what you were gonna have? You did, because for me, I wanted the surprise. Like, I hated being pregnant so much, I wanted to have something. I figure once you find out the sex of the baby, why continue with the pregnancy, right? It's my political joke. Thank you, one person, for getting it. But my mother-in-law, like, almost ruined it for me. She looks at me and she goes, I can tell you're going to have a baby girl. I'm like, wow, magic. How can you tell? She said, because your bottom is so big. I said, oh, are you having a baby girl too? How about the people that brag about their kids all the time, right? It's so annoying. A mom from my kid's school. How old is Avery now?
She's going to be 6 months.
6, oh, so you haven't hit this yet. You're still in the, like...
Daycare.
She's in daycare. Oh, you really hate her. Ooh, I'm not supposed to swear. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Are you mad at me? No. Okay. You are, really? We're gonna have a fight. Anyway, so she'll be the mother. She'll be the mother who calls me. The mother calls me up last week, and she goes, Karen, you don't know how hard it is to have a really brilliant child. I'm like, yeah, it must be especially difficult for you. Anyway. Do you send out the newsletter at Christmas? Do you send out the newsletter where you talk about the family? No. Do you know what I'm talking about? Does everybody here know? Do you know what I'm talking about, the newsletter? Foreign? Are you foreign? No. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, the newsletter, for those of you from a foreign country, in the U.S., we send out newsletters, not all of us, but like 10%, send out newsletters to everybody bragging about our children, right? Usually they're 1 to 4 pages, very small font, brightly colored paper, but you have to read it, right? Because you're going to run into the lady who wrote it, and she's going to give you a pop quiz on the family, right? It's filled with bragging. Occasionally there'll be a footnote with the word rehab in it, but generally it's a lot of self-praise, and they always run something like this. We've had a powerful year. We both got big bonuses and won the Nobel Peace Prize. Little Timmy, at the age of 9, has been asked to design the Freedom Tower. His baby sister, Saffron Ophelia, will be playing the harpsichord at Carnegie Hall, and she's only 3. And as a family, we're all taking a walking trip around the world. I wrote my own newsletter. Do you guys want to hear it? Yes, Karen, of course. Here's our newsletter. This is it. We've had a powerful year. We got our dishwasher fixed. Baby Teddy, at the age of 3, can dismantle a phone and eat the battery in a single sitting. His older brother, Danny, at the age of 5, picks his nose and his bottom at the very same time. And as a family, we're all taking Nexium. It's, right? The bragging is unbelievable. How about the people, did you change the voicemail yet for Avery? Did you change the voicemail? Right? You know what I'm talking about. The people who do this, like they give birth, they go, they change the phone, right? It's like Johnny and Jamie and little Chucky can't get to the phone right now. I redid my friend's voicemail, and now it says, hey, we're really uninteresting. And now there's more of us. How about when the kid learns a word, they have to put him on the phone with you? Sometimes they have them answering the phone even though they can't process or transcribe information. I call my friends up to wish them a Merry Christmas. I get this, I'm like, cute, no such thing as Santa Claus. Can you put your mommy on the phone? And they gotta give you like a report, everything the kid says, stuff you don't wanna hear. My friend calls me up, she's like, you know what, Karen? My Jordan likes your hair better the other way. I'm like, well, your Jordan called me and asked me how he could contact social services. Too much information, right? Too much. Even on the baby announcement, right? People have to give you the exact weight of the baby. Like I care. I want to know the weight of the mother.